Sure, I can do a roll call.
Okay.
Leia?
Yep.
Charles?
Yes.
Candy?
Here.
And I don't see Rick Albers. Rob Cook?
Here.
Mike Crowley?
Here.
Okay. Chuck Jacobus? I don't see him. Marion?
Here.
Sarah? No. Ruben?
Here.
Bill?
Present.
And Kelly?
Here.
Okay, you do have a quorum.
Oh, there's
here
Rick.
Yeah, there's Rick. Okay, great. So we're just missing 3.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome. It's great to see all of you. We had a little bit of sad news. Our sweet Miss Linda Conway has passed, and I would like to take a moment of silence to honor her and her contributions to our industry. She was a fabulous friend and a really iconic figure, especially in real estate education. And so if we just want to bow our heads for a moment and a moment of silence. Thank you so much. With that said, we do have the pleasure of welcoming Ruben Pena, Mr. Ruben Pena, back to the committee. He was our alternate, and we certainly appreciate all of your service to our ESAC committee and your expertise. So welcome back.
Thank you.
I'd also like to thank and welcome Commissioner Wilkinson for joining us today. Thank you for being here. We're always glad to have your insight and expertise with us as well. Just a couple housekeeping rules. Just a reminder to please keep yourself muted when you're not speaking. As we all know, this virtual world, we have a lot of echo. So if you would just please mute yourself and raise your hand. Up in the top corner, you'll see a little hand raise. I'm going to do my best to follow along with you. It's okay to jump in if you do have something to say, and I'll try to keep tabs on how in order for all of us to keep things going today. And then just try to limit the use of the chat function. If you're having a technical issue, certainly let us know, but this meeting is being recorded and we want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence for public record. Vanessa or Abby, do you have any other things that we need to add to that, or a little housekeeping this morning?
I think you covered it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's move along to agenda item number 4, discussion and possible action to amend the July 7th, 2021 meeting minutes. We don't need to vote or approve them unless you do have a change. Was anybody have any changes or questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, who is speaking?
This is Commissioner Williams.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right, so let's move along to agenda item number 5, public or written comments received on non-agenda items. I don't know of any comments or anything received. Vanessa or Abby, did we receive any other as of recently?
We have not, no comments.
Okay, let's move along then. We have agenda item number 6, discussion and possible action regarding the Rule 535.92, continuing education requirements. The proposed rule is in the materials packet, and this was formally proposed by the Commission at the August meeting. We have received no comments, so the committee can move to recommend adoption to the Commission at its November meeting. So I'll open up to the floor if we have any questions or comments regarding this. Just a reminder, this was the we cleaned up the language regarding the professional designations rule. If there are no comments, I would welcome a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. All right. Let's move on to agenda item number 7, discussion regarding technological advances in course delivery methods and commission requirements. The Rule 535.60 definitions is included in the materials packet. And I just thought I'd provide some context this morning. At the last meeting, we talked about some of the impacts to the pandemic has had on education delivery methods and wanted to revisit the rule to ensure it was inclusive of any new advances in technology and delivery techniques. At the last TREC meeting, Chairman Kestner reiterated the need to stay ahead of opportunities for growth in the industry, which would benefit both education providers and students. And, I just thought I'd give my opinion on this topic since it was an agenda item that I had brought forth. And I'll just say, in my opinion, automation is a major tech trend to watch no matter what industry you're in. I don't believe tech will replace humans. However, in a world of increasing automation, people who can genuinely connect with others through things like automation and AI technology that we're seeing in the marketplace today will be more valuable, not less. And so, at a minimum, I think we should stay focused on student and consumer needs as emerging communication and education techniques continue to arise, and just share any insights or information with the committee and make sure that we are in conversation when we come across these types of trends in an effort to stay in front of them. And those were just my comments. The rule is in your materials for your review, and I would like to open the floor for discussion and just maybe talk through what are the challenges, if any, is the definition inclusive enough? And then if there's any other questions or comments pertaining to this item. So I'll go ahead and open the floor. Would anybody like to bring up any comments or questions on this topic?
Kalia, do you mind if I say something real fast?
Please. Yes.
Good morning, y'all. I haven't even greeted you this morning, but
good morning. I didn't even know you were here. Thanks, Chelsea.
I'm like lurking. I wanted to say, just to make sure it's clear, and I think you said it well, Kalia, that I don't think the intent of the conversation is intended to narrow anything as much as it is to determine whether or not there are new ways or new things we need to consider based on what we've learned during the pandemic, that there will likely always be brick and mortar opportunities and that there's no desire to get rid of anything. It's more like, what have we learned and what new opportunities are there, right? So I wanted that to be said on behalf of the commission as you brainstorm the topic.
100%. Yeah, what is available today is fantastic, and it certainly doesn't affect anybody's business models or, things that they're doing today, but more just to expand upon and ensure that we are being inclusive of any emerging technologies or trends in the education space. Mm-hmm. I do see a hand being raised. Is it Rick? Are you here, Mr. Albers?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning, everybody. And I'm all for expanding and using technology as much as we can. I want to have a sideline conversation in connection with this, and that's with correspondence courses, because we've always had correspondence courses in a separate bucket than how we treat other courses. And I'm wondering if it's time to bring correspondence courses into the same bucket. I mean, a great example of the problem that I have is we go to great lengths to teach the instructors for Legal 1 and 2 and broker responsibility how to teach the course. We make sure they're qualified. But when you have a correspondence course, there is no instructor whatsoever. And you get around all of that. And because of the technology available today, I'm not certain that we need a separate category for correspondence courses. And I kind of want everybody to think about that as we go through this conversation.
Great comments. Thank you, Mr. Albers. Candy.
Okay. So I traipse over all 3 levels. Rick, I appreciate your comments on the correspondence. I got to tell you, I am the instructor of record for 2 online courses providers, and I write online courses. I got to tell you, they're the hardest things I've ever worked on. And Jennifer terrifies me when I have to send it in. She's going to go, what? The thing is that I think we're putting the technology into place to put some regulation on it, and it takes some work. On the pre-licensing, I've proofed 6 different states for principals, and I can tell you, it took me the full 90, the full 60, or the full 30, whatever they gave me, to go through it. You can't speed it up. So I think we've got some regulation there. The other thing is, I do live virtual. I saw Chelsea the other day in live. Live is alive and well. However, there was a certain portion of people who either couldn't afford to make it, didn't want to make it, didn't want to be in a room with 100 people. And I think by helping all of our instructors to understand technology, we assist those consumers or those license holders or whoever they are to get good education. Texas is just too darn big to get for some people to make it here. I just think that my last comments were to help the instructors up their game, not to stop at one particular kind of learning, but to totally up the game and make it so that everybody can succeed.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Candy. And is it Jennifer? I'm sorry if I'm missing your hand. Jennifer, are you wanting to speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to just remind everybody that, several years ago when we went through the discussion of delivery methods and defined them, for pre-licensing coursework, the correspondence courses are subject to the same standards as the online courses. So at least the way that we are reviewing and approving them when they're submitted to us, even the correspondence courses require some type of, interactivity, scenario-based learning exercises. So at least from a staff perspective, I can tell you that what we're seeing when we're reviewing the courses is even correspondence generally has to have some component of online. Either you have to access an online platform to take your quizzes, to move to the next topic. You have to access an online component to go through the scenario-based learning exercise. It's, at least for the pre-licensing courses, that is a baseline. The continuing ed courses are less stringent in that regard. So there may be some discussion that you want to have there. And if you're seeing something in the industry that is not in line with what we're describing or approving, then that is a red flag also, and something that for us to look into.
Thank you, Jennifer. Mr. Albers.
Yes, and thanks, Jennifer. And my concern is with the continuing education classes, specifically the Legal 1, Legal 2, and the broker responsibility.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay, anybody else have any comments related to this discussion item? I really just think that it's something that we should be mindful of, continue to monitor and watch and see, what's out there and what's continuing, what is driving adult learning. What are people craving, doing, seeing that is, and ensuring that it's in line with the TREC rule. And, we learned a lot with the pandemic. So if there's any other comments or things that you want to share, please, send them to the committee and we can continue the conversation. Any other last comments on this discussion item? No, we good? Okay. All right. Let's continue on to discussion item or agenda item number 8, discussion regarding qualifications of instructors of qualifying and continuing education courses. This is subsections 535.65B and 535.75B, which are included in the materials packet as well. And then as a reminder, we had a discussion at the last meeting based off of some of our committee members' feedback from the recent Arello conference, and discussion was had regarding the monitoring of qualified instructors, which is now the responsibility of the provider. And then, in terms of these issues, the Education Compliance Audit Program is TREC's initiative to ensure all providers are operating in compliance with TREC rules. There are multiple aspects to the program, which currently include website and administrative audits. Administrative audits include a review of the qualifications of instructors, and TREC staff can provide us those updates should there be any common violations that need to be brought to our attention. So I would just welcome any comments or questions on this agenda item. I do think that between both the education enforcement report and the results of the audits, we can determine areas that need improvement and bring those to the committee's attention. Ms. Jennifer? I'm seeing hands, so I don't know.
Sure. Well,
Thank you.
Kalea, I just wanted to speak a little bit to, where we are with the audit program. One of the things that I want to clarify is that with the administrative audit program, currently we are only looking at the qualifying education providers. So I think in some of the discussions that I've heard in this meeting and previous meetings, perhaps the concern or the interest is more in the continuing education realm. I can tell you that we have initiated audits on about 35% of our qualifying education providers, and we have not received, we've been looking at the instructor evaluations and those things, and really have found no consistent or egregious issues. It does seem to me that with our findings, the qualifying providers are adequately, even more so, vetting the qualifications of the instructors. So I think we're okay there. At least that's the direction we're leaning. But I do want to remind everybody that this administrative audit is solely for the qualifying education providers at this time. Now, of course, eventually we will, as the program grows, move into our continuing education providers. So I just wanted to provide that context for you.
Thank you, Jennifer. When is that going to happen for the continuing education audit? Do we know?
We don't know exactly yet. I imagine that we'll be able to branch into that within the year, 9 to 12 months probably. But this is, it's such a brand new thing. And so we've been rolling out every phase of it, as we've been able to, which initially started with website compliance reviews. And those have been performed for all of our continuing ed providers. We felt like that was a very important way to start because it is the first interaction the student has with the education provider, and it's important for consumer protection that what the provider is displaying on their website is current, is accurate, etc. And then we were able to move into the administrative audit component. It's a little bit, well, I'll say easier in the sense that we have fewer qualifying education providers than we do continuing education providers. So it was a logical next step for us to embark on that group of, just under 45. Whereas when we embark on the continuing education provider program, we're going to be looking at about 550 providers. Okay. So this was kind of the baseline. Let's get this administrative audit program. Let's master it, with this group, and then we can move into the continuing education provider. So that's it. That's the best answer I can give you. I hope that is sufficient.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Sure.
And does anybody have any other questions or comments regarding this agenda item? Bill?
Yes. Because of the fact there are 500 providers out there in continuing education, has there been any consideration to giving the providers an example of what TREC is going to want to see as a list of instructors that they're using and what they're looking for in that background? So I have 29 instructors. What's TREC going to be looking for? A list with a name on it with my signature that says these 29 people are approved, or are they going to be looking for more extensive information?
Well, I'll just leave my hand up. Actually, that's a great question, Bill. And I can actually bring, if you're interested, a copy of our audit compliance notice that we send to our education providers. We can provide those materials at the next meeting if you'd like to take a look, but it's very detailed and it's part of the introductory process when the audit is initiated. And it speaks specifically to instructors and lets the provider know what the expectation is prior to the commencement of the audit.
I would think that would be good. Otherwise, you're going to have 500 providers out there creating stuff right before the audit. And it would seem to me that we want the providers to be in compliance well before we start to do an audit to catch them in violation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? I don't see any other hands. Okay. Well, again, I think between the education enforcement report that PEM typically gives us, as well as the results of these audits, if there's anything that continues to arise, I know that staff will bring that to our attention. And with that, I think we can move on. We are looking for potential agenda items for next meeting, and it sounds, Bill, like you just put one on the list for us. If staff would please provide a copy of that documentation so that we can review it or look at it, I guess, Jennifer, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other agenda items? All right. Well, we'll if there's anything that arises, we can certainly send it out to the committee and craft an agenda for our next meeting, which will be in January. Again, I can't believe it's already October, our last meeting of the year. I want to thank all of you for your service this year. It's been a pleasure to serve with you. It's been a great year with some really awesome work that we've accomplished. We have some dates potentially for our next meetings. It looks like Monday, January 3rd is our first meeting. I know that's right after the start of the new year. I want to say this last year we pushed it back a week, but I could be wrong. Unless everybody's okay with coming back that first week after the holiday, we can certainly keep it on the 3rd or push it to the following week if that's easier for everybody. Any comments on that? Ms. Wilkinson? I think I see your, oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, trying to do my job here. No, my only comment was all of y'all are doing a great job, and so we just thank you for your service. What a talented team of people that serve on this committee, and not only our members, but our consumers appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you very much. All right, so do we want to stick with Miss Candy? Did I see your, is your hand up?
Yes, yes, my hand's up, my internet's trying, if you push it a week, I'm on the cruise again and I can't see you guys.
Okay.
Oh, terrible reason.
Well, it's
right?
me. She's on vacation and then she's going on a cruise the first week of January.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
to be in the life of Candy.
I'm teaching this week. Please understand that.
Okay, well, we can certainly keep it on the 3rd if that's okay with everybody. We did, I got confirmation, we did push it to the 11th this year, just to give everybody a little grace to come back to the office. But if there's no objections, we can certainly keep it on the 3rd. Everybody seems to be good to go on the 3rd. Okay,
Okay.
the 3rd it is. We'll keep it at 10 a.m. And then we also had Monday, April 4th, just to get the first 2 quarters on the books. So if everybody's okay with that as well, we'll just go ahead and set those as we kick off the next year. Okay. Well, that was a wonderful meeting, everybody. We don't have any other agenda items unless there's other comments from our wonderful committee. We can adjourn. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you on the other side. Take
I'll
care.
send pictures.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.